Good evening, everyone. Am I audible? Hi, Ria. Good evening. Shall we start? So I think people are asking for 5 more minutes to join in. So we're going to wait for them. Hi, Anita. Welcome. Welcome to the presentation. Delay बहुत है। Welcome everyone, welcome to the presentation, and thank you so much for joining in. So I would be admitting each and everyone individually, and if there are any questions in between, you can definitely unmute yourself, raise your hands, and you can ask me about anything that there is any particular doubt that you might have during the presentation. So the topic of the presentation is going to be about positive behavioral change in education, motivation, and love towards education. So I'm not going to be reading the PPT slide. It's going to be more about the discussion and how a positive behavioral change in education can be achieved for children, for the I mean, the presentation is for the parents, for the teachers, and everyone that is involved in the education ecology of the student, be it the parents, be it the teacher or the students themselves, or anyone that is interested in to bring in any kind of positive change in their education life. So as we had discussed last week also, we're going to be sticking with the same topic for quite some time now, and we'll be moving ahead. So each, as I said last time, that each person is different. I mean, but in if we look at from the psychological perspective, so there's a mind of a person and there's a body of a person, and these two come together to form a personality, a character about a person. What we have realized so far, there are certain aspects that make a pattern through when it comes to mind, when it comes to body, that make a character or a person in a certain way. I mean, whether a person would be successful, whether he would be good in education, or would he be uh, would he be able to achieve the set goals. So this is how a character of a person is defined, a personality of a person is defined, and the mind and the body are kept different from the personality and the character for this discussion, and this is how we are going to move ahead. So how do we bring in a positive behavioral change towards education, and what is positive behavioral change? So basically we can bring about a change in, so there are people joining in. Welcome to the presentation. So we have just started. You are at the right time, Mohammed Samir Alam. So what is the meaning of positive reinforcement? And this is a method to bring in a positive change in yourself or in the other person involved with you in the education or in any other aspect of life, be it work or be it your house or be it your education. So positive reinforcement refers to introduction of desirable or present stimulus in return for a particular behavior, a desirable behavior that you want to bring, and makes it more likely that the behavior will reoccur. So I'll very simplify this, what I just said. So positive reinforcement is a technique wherein you would implement it, where you would want to bring in a positive behavior. Uh, it can be a positive behavioral change or something that has been already happening. Uh, so, for example, a particular student has not been studying well, and you want that student to improve that improve his level of studies, his marks, his education level or interest. So, how would you go about it? So there are various stimulus. So whenever the initial step would be to encourage him to study, and whenever you see an improvement, you would give him a positive response. And this would be in terms of natural, it could be tangible, or it could be social. By natural, it would be something which is very innate in a person. So, for example, a student is interested in studying because every time he studies, he gets better marks, he gets more marks. So, this is something very natural. This usually is doesn't work. It's not as simple as it sounds. I mean, there is a reason that you require a certain percentage to be more successful and considered successful. So, how can we bring it? So, we bring in a tangible reinforcement. So, every time a person performs better in studies, and by better, I do not simply mean scoring better marks. It could be as simple as spending more time for studies, spending more time for being involved with the studies, studying more number of pages, studying, doing more number of problems, mathematical problems, as simple as this. So this is what positive reinforcement refers to, and this brings in a desirable change in a particular student's lifestyle and outlook towards the education. And as I said, the reinforcement, the methodology of reinforcement could be natural or tangible. As we have discussed the natural already, the tangible could be as simple as giving your children or the student or the party involved a certain gift, a very small token. It could be as simple as a chocolate or or 10 rupees, or as simple as and a small toy, a small token. Apart from this, from natural tangible, it could as well as be social. What is social? Social is simple as uh, telling your children or telling someone, well done, or congratulations, you have outdone yourself better this time. And it is very important to note here that positive reinforcements is much more uh, delivers much more better results if it delivers much more better results than punishments, which is called positive punishments. So, such as if a person is not been a child has not been performing well, so it would be as simple as not punishing him, but encouraging him to spend more time towards his studies. And when he does that, providing him with a positive reinforcement. It could be, as I said, it could be tangible, it could be social, telling him that he has done well, shabash, or providing a few words of encouragement. As simple as that is applying a positive reinforcement theory. So here are certain examples that you would see about positive reinforcement theory. A father providing his child with a piece of candy for picking up his toys. Just a sec, just a sec. This father providing his child with a piece of candy for picking up his toys. So this is another example of positive reinforcement. So and a mother telling her child, "Great job," whenever he puts away the dishes. A boss offering her employee a raise when he goes above and beyond the expectation on a particular project. So through this positive reinforcement, we are encouraging a positive behavior, a repeat of positive behavior, and expecting a result to happen it again. And as it happens again, this particular change from extrinsic becomes intrinsic. It becomes permanent in nature. A student with time, with positive reinforcement, would become habitual of performing better in education, or your colleague would become better in the office. Or this, as I said, as we discussed in the very initial stage of the presentation, that this can be implied all across, irrespective of these, whether the subject is a student or your colleague, or someone a part of your personal life in your house. So this is how the theory can be implied. What is the likelihood of a behavior being repeated? So as I said, the time is the key. Basically, as soon as the positive reinforcement is applied, when I talk about positive reinforcements, as we discussed earlier, it can be natural, tangible, or social. But as soon as it is applied towards, whenever you see a expected result, the better the outcomes are. So as soon as a child performs better on an exam, or on particular subject, even if it involves spending more time towards studies, giving them an immediate award brings in the behavioral change of the student or of the subject. And as the longer it takes, if you take a longer amount of time to provide him with the reinforcement, tangible reinforcement, the results can be very slow in terms of permanent behavior change. So as I said, the time is the essence. The shorter the time, the immediate reaction time is less towards the behavior, the better the outcomes are. And as we said during the start of the presentation, Sri Aurobindo Society has been involved with this particular program of positive reinforcement through Auro Scholarship, bringing about a change on large-scale basis, and increasing the interest of the students in the education. And this is being applied all across India on pan India basis. And you can Sri Aurobindo Society, as you would know, many of you would know, is quite it carries quite a legacy. I mean, it was founded by Sri Aurobindo Ghosh and Mira Alfasa, and Sri Aurobindo Ghosh himself was a freedom fighter. He and involved with a lot of activities, and later on towards his life, he was more of a spiritualist, and he was the guiding light towards the founding of this Shri Aurobindo Society. It is as old as it was formed in 1960, and we have 350 centers across the world. And this particular program, scholarship program, is being applied through utilizing technology, and you can download this particular app or a scholar through your Android mobile phone, and this is what the you can utilize the scholarship amount through this particular app. You can see the following of Shri Aurobindo Society, and you can see the Honorable Prime Minister paying homage to the Samadhi of Shri Aurobindo Ghosh himself. And so how can we apply this particular positive reinforcement theory to the great Indian education problem? As you would note, there are about 25 crore children in the school education system, and there are 1 crore children, 1 crore teachers across India, and about 15 lakh of schools. And it is the complete ecosystem of the education that we are trying to help, and we're trying to aid through this particular theory. You would have noticed that many children do not perform expectedly according to the class they are in. I mean, there was a survey by Acer that about 57% of the children, 57% of the students were not able to do a simple division. 40% of them cannot read a sentence in English, and 25 cannot do a basic. They cannot read a basic native text, and this is what the problem lies. So how do we improve it? Through positive reinforcement theory. As we discussed, we simply apply one way of applying is a natural way, wherein the student is naturally motivated, and it is up to him that he sees his marks to improve, and that improvement naturally motivates him to perform better. But as you can see, that is not the case here. And what we can do is simply provide a tangible way of reinforcement to increase the performance better. And how can it be done? Through the scholarship program. Through this particular program, Shri Aurobindo Society has made an MOU with CBSE, with multiple state governments, government of Sikkim, and there are other state governments as well. And there's a particular program called ZIEI, through which there are 20 lakh students who have become part of this particular program. And so far, is anyone who wants to ask anything, they can unmute their mic, and I would be more than obliged to answer any questions, any queries, or any idea that they might have. As I said, this would be more of a discussion rather than a simple presentation. Let me check on YouTube if there's anyone asking about any particular thing. There are mostly students here on YouTube. Okay. So, proceeding further. Just a sec. Give me a minute, Islam. Some problem. Just a sec. Yeah. So here we are. Yeah. So as I said, the Aurobindo Society has been applying this particular program on large scale basis through Auro Scholarship program, and this to make this implementation possible. There's an app called Auro Scholar which you can download from the from any Android phone. So what happens through this program is a very simple way. Whenever a child downloads this app, they can take multiple quizzes during the week for selecting each and every subject, and they can as well take retakes once they have not been able to perform well on these quizzes, and depending upon whether they have performed well or not, and after verifying their KYC, proctoring their exam, that whether or not they have done any kind of cheating during the quizzes, a particular amount is deposited. The scholarship amount is deposited in their uh, Paytm account if they have managed to perform well. Now, so what happens every time they perform well? A scholarship amount is disbursed to their Paytm account, giving them a tangible reinforcement that whenever you study, whenever you improve yourself and achieve a particular benchmark, you would be provided with a tangible reinforcement. Over a period, this tangible enforcement becomes permanent in nature. Initially, it requires a extrinsic force. It requires a reinforcement that you need to perform well to achieve a certain amount in monetary benefit in terms of scholarship. But over a period, that becomes a habit, as we have discussed while discussing the positive reinforcement theory. And over a period, it becomes his habit to study. And this is what has been observed through the implementation of this particular program. As I had told you, this particular program is a tech-based program. So there are very measurable and very tangible results which have made outcomes through this particular program. So far, about 7.5 lakh students are registered for this program. There are about 16 lakh quizzes which have taken place, and 20 lakh of scholarship amount has been disbursed through this particular program. And so you can see the success of this particular program being implemented on pan-India basis. And as I said, that the results and the outcome of these programs are very much tangible. You can see that the results are measurable. And I would show you for an example, for very small examples are, so whenever a student wins a scholarship, it's a likelihood that he would take more assessments compared to a non scholarship winner. So he would take 30% more assessment, irrespective whether he wins the scholarship again or not. So what has happened? We have successfully applied the positive reinforcement. So every time a student achieves a scholarship, he is expecting that he would benefit through monetary basis, and it has brought in a behavioral change in him to perform better. So he's taking more assessments on similar lines. He's taking 27% more assessments after a month after winning a scholarship. Earlier, it was a comparison to a non-scholarship winner. Now it's a comparison to his past performance. He takes more time to spend on assessments compared to a non-scholarship winner immediately next month. He takes about 4% more time to finish an assessment next month irrespective whether he wins the scholarship or not, compared to the months he had, compared to the time he had taken before winning the scholarship. So winning the scholarship acts as a positive reinforcement to him towards his education. Scholarship winners keeps on undertaking assessment for almost about 7.5 times more number of consecutive months. So even after once a scholarship amount is disbursed to him, the positive reinforcement is such that he takes more number of months. He is able to involve himself for 7.5 times more in his education. Student learning outcomes increased by 7.8% in the first month after the base month. So what does it mean here? After he took the first assessment, the improvement in his score is 8% more immediately after 1 month, whenever he's involved with the program. And this is how you can see the results of this particular programs are very much measurable. You can compare a student with the student who are not involved with this particular program. You can see how a student improves over a time, even after one instance of positive reinforcement is provided to him. So far we have learned that this particular theory can also be applied on a day-to-day life, in our household, in our offices, and specifically this needs to be applied in a student's life, and whole ecology of the students, the teachers, the parents need to be involved. And I would reiterate that positive reinforcement is much positively impactful and much better compared to punishments. So this is what the presentation was all about, and I would request all of you to join this particular program to help us be more successful. Whether you're a student, whether you're a parent, or whether you're an office going person, you can somehow or the other always contribute towards this particular program. And this program, I reiterate, that is being implemented on pan-India basis. So no matter where you are and who you are, you can always contribute to become a part of this movement, become a part of this society, Shri Aurobindo Society. And I said, Shri Aurobindo Society has a legacy which it goes out with, and it's quite old. We have been doing a lot for the society from quite a long time in the development sector, in the social sector. We have always been involved, and I would request you all to become a part of this program in somewhere or the other. And this is about it. Thank you so much, and thank you so much for your time, for your evening, and being a part of this presentation. I wish to see you soon, next week, and where we can discuss how we can do better.
I didn't understand that.
And I would request anyone that if they have any question, they can definitely unmute their mic, and they are requested to ask any query that they might have. All right. So thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for your time once